showtime.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl Nita, your favorite diva, and I am back for another movie review. The movie that I'm reviewing for you today is Men. This is the 2020 A24 recent elevated horror film by Alex Garland. The movie is written and directed by Alex Garland. If you don't know him, he is known for Ex-Machina and Annihilation, which is very sci-fi in nature. He actually did this show called Devs, and it's a TV show, which I've only heard good things about, but I haven't seen it. And he also wrote the script for 28 Days Later, which was actually a really good film. The movie is starring Jessie Buckley from Chernobyl, Fargo, the TV series. And then we also have Rory Kinnear from Penny Dreadful and the James Bond franchise, most recent one, that is. The movie clocks in at 1 hour and 40 minutes. It is classified as a drama, horror, and sci-fi, and the synopsis reads: a young woman goes on a solo vacation to the English countryside following the death of her ex-husband. And that is all I'm going to say, because this is your spoiler-free review. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you are returning, you already know what we do here. I watch movies so you don't have to. I give you the good and the bad and a little bit of everything in between, with no spoilers, of course. And I'll let you know whether or not you should know or go see it in theaters, which it is currently playing. Start off the review with a fun fact here. Rory Kinnear played all the different versions of the men we meet in this movie. I was so surprised. I saw it, but I was so surprised in doing my research on the movie. Of course, he didn't play her husband, of course, because he is of the darker persuasion. If I'm wrong, I'm sure you will correct me in the comments. So let's get with the good, shall we? The performances are top notch here. There's a handful of people in this movie carrying this movie. Buckley, even though a woman of not so many words, her performance is definitely a testament of her massive talent as an actress. Not to be outdone by Kinnear. He really transformed into about 4 or 5 different men, playing it with such nuance and tenacity. The music, the sound editing was very good. There was this echo song that is created in the beginning of the film, and you will see it in the marketing, you'll see it in the trailer.
You're tormented.
It feels more like...
And it's actually reused and repurposed in the score throughout the movie, which I thought was a very nice touch. There are moments in the trailer that shows you how the lights and the sound just cuts out at the right time, and that's kudos to the sound editing and such. Now we're moving on to the cinematography. We always know what an Alex Garland film is: breathtaking and vibrant. Shout out to the Rob Hardy for being a DOP on his projects. Garland says that they speak the same language when capturing film without a lot of explaining. There's so many vibrant greens. The blocking was well executed. There's a lot to be said about the creepy shots that were captured superbly. The visual effects, the practical effects, the body horror was definitely something to look at as well. Definitely not for the faint of heart. Actually, the cinematography is one of the strongest aspects of the film, next to the direction. And as we move on to the direction of the film, the direction was firing on all cylinders for me. I think it was well crafted, well executed. I think Garland was definitely in his bag on this one. I really enjoyed the messaging and the metaphors and the analogies given to this art house elevated horror. This felt like the least sci-fi that he's done in recent times. It was grounded yet elevated. So now let's get into the flaws of the film. The bad. It was the lack of character development for me. I felt like Garland dropped the ball with the script in this department. I don't know if something was on the cutting room floor. It wasn't the dialogue. The dialogue was nicely crafted. It wasn't clunky. I just wanted a little bit more depth with the characters, the relationships that they had. And, just other than the few flashbacks that they gave us, like, I just wish I had a little bit more. And, he leaves his films a lot more ambiguous than others. So, I don't think that he really needed to explain what he was doing with the metaphors and stuff like that. But I just wish there was a little bit more meat on the bones with the relationships of everyone so that we could be clear. I was listening to some critics saying that it was too on the nose at some points, and then it was left too ambiguous. And I'm like, at the same damn time, pick one, okay? Sight. You know what I always say is always two things can be true at the same time. So before I give you my overall thoughts on Men 2022 from A24, why don't you follow me on my social media? It's right there. Overall thoughts on Men. While I felt like I understood the film and I could see how some would be thrown off from the absurdity of the third act, I hope that you can have an open mind and follow it enough to understand the different layers, the depth, and the depiction that he puts on the screen. It's beautiful, it's haunting cinematography, creepy and grotesque body horror, expert direction, excellent performances all around. I was totally engulfed in the message of the film. While this film is not going to be for everyone, I do applaud the big swing from A24 every time, and from Alex Garland every time, knocking it out the park with making their mark with innovative and creative art in the film industry of our recent time. And I give Men 4 out of 5 stars. I really do not want to recommend it, and I'm going to tell you why. But I say, if you're curious, definitely check it out. If you are a fan of Alex Gardner, check it out. If you like Ex-Machina, if you like Annihilation, check it out. If you like the trailer, check it out. And what I want to say, I am going to give you a snippet from a good friend of mine. He is a filmmaker, a screenwriter, a film enthusiast, a good friend of mine, Mr. Anthony Green. And he says, the logic is inconsequential to the sensibility and circumstance. A surreal and harrowing exploration on grief, healing, domestic abuse, and male toxicity. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but I loved it. I was asked about my decision not to recommend, and here's why. Some films only work on a personal level. You have to find them and experience them on your own accord without recommendation or expectation. This is not a film to point people towards. It has to appeal to an individual's curiosity and experience. And I believe that is perfectly said. And I totally agree with that assessment. I couldn't have said it any better. So yes, that is why I don't really recommend it, but I did give you a score. I give you a 4 out of 5. And if you're curious, you figure it out on your own. Okay. So for my Diva recommendations, I have Jordan Peele's Us. I have Alex Garland's Annihilation, and I have Ari Aster's Midsummer. Yes. So that concludes my review of Men. Let me know down in the comments what is most importantly, did I turn you on to this movie? Do you think you want to see it, or are you going to pass on it, or whatever? You let me know down in the comments. Did you see it? Were you freaked out? Were you grossed out? Did you walk out? Did people walk out your theater? Y'all let me know down in the comments. I am so curious to hear. If you do see it, make sure you come back and give me your thoughts on it. As always, I'm Nita, your favorite diva, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and you make sure you come back. Bye.